Hey, good morning, everyone. How are you? So, today we'll try to understand the basics of error handling in Workfront Fusion. Okay, so error handling is super important because whenever an error occurs in your Fusion scenario, what happens is it deactivates your scenario immediately. Okay, for example, you're calling an API, a third party API, let's say, and if the API is down, um, obviously the API call will fail and the fusion scenario will get deactivated immediately. What does it mean? Your integration is basically down. Messages start piling up. There might be delays. There's something that you want to avoid at any cost. So let's see how we can configure error handling in a scenario. Okay, so we have the scenario which we developed in the previous session, and we are planning to implement error handling for this particular scenario. So if you look at the scenario, um, we can expect errors in this module because we are basically downloading a document. Um, when you're downloading a document, that means in the background it's making some API calls. Okay, so obviously errors might occur here. Okay, for sure. So we have to implement error handling here for sure. Now, if you see this module also is basically a custom API call and errors might occur in this module as well. So we definitely need to implement error handling for this module as well. And we have a create record module here. Um, Errors might occur in a create record module also because we are basically inserting an object or a record. So errors might happen in that case as well. So basically we need to implement error handling for this module, and for this module. To start with, we'll implement error handling for this module alone. Okay, so how do you do that? Right click on it and then say add error handling. Okay, now what do I need to do? Whenever an error occurs, I basically want an error note to be sent to the Workfront admin person. Okay, that's what I want to do. So let's say I want to add an error note in Workfront. So select, it will be Workfront, and let's say create a record. We need to create a note record. So let's say create a record here, and then let's say record type should be note. Okay, record type should be note here, and then we need some fields to be mapped, right? So let's say note object code. We need the note object code. We need the note text. We need the object ID here. Object ID, perfect. And then what else do we need? We need somebody to be notified, right? Yes, we need that. So notify, perfect. So we need all these details. Okay, so let's map all these fields. The first field here is object code. What is it? For us, it's going to be proj because we are going to create an error note in the project, in a particular project. Okay, now what is the text? So I've just prepared a note text, let's say uh, an error template, let's say. So this is my error template. This is to inform you that an error occurred in one of the Workfront Fusion scenarios which may require your immediate attention, and I will give the error message here. So what is the error message? We can get it from this particular place, download document, error. Under error you have message. So let's map the message, the error message here. Perfect. So now that it is done, so let's click on OK. I think we need to map some more fields. Let's say I need to map object ID. So how do I get the object ID? So let's get to that project. So this is a project where I'm planning to insert the error note. So let's get the ID from the URL, the project ID from the URL, and then let's try to map it here. Uh, Actually, let's add it as a global variable here, add var project ID equal to so and so, and we can map it from that variable basically, right? So if we go to this object ID, yeah, So map the project ID to object ID. Perfect. So now that we have everything, let's click on OK and let's save the scenario. And we also need to simulate an error here, right? How can I simulate an error? So let's try to add something called test here, or let's say whip-in maybe, because it will try to search for a document ID which is actually invalid because I have added whip-in at the end. So it should throw an error for sure. Okay, so let's try to run this, and obviously an error might happen here, and then a notification will be sent to the Fusion admin team. Okay, um, actually, if you see this, I didn't map the notify. Um, So I just need to notify a person, right? So let's add a notify person. I need the ID of, I need an the ID of the admin person. Okay, so this is the ID of the admin person. So I'll just add it here. Actually, we can also add this in the global variables here, where Workfront admin, add it here. Add. Okay, so then let's try to notify, and here we can add that, right? So ID will be Workfront admin ID, and user, we are going to notify a user here. So let's click on add. Perfect. So now that we have everything, we can try to simulate the error. Okay, so then error happens here, and then it goes to this path, which is basically to create an error note. Okay, and the scenario is not stopped. Here it is. So we have the error details here. If you see, the error message is displayed here, and this is how you handle errors. Okay, I hope it was useful. Have a great day.